Welcome to a Farmer's Mid Morning Show. Your host Noah Nasiali Kadima. Karibuni. Welcome again to County 034. Your host Noah Nasiali Kadima. Right here from a Farmer's Studios, bringing you positive vibes all the way from the farm. Today we are to discuss some things that we've been seeing a lot. The mood about farmers, talking about greenhouses, talking about farming in the coast, talking about what are these things that we can be able to do, especially as farmers, to excel in what we are doing. But most importantly, who are we going to talk to? We're going to talk to some of the experts that we have right here from our farmers, and we're also talking to somebody else who will be telling us much more about liquid seaweed. Is it liquid weed? Seaweed liquid fertilizer. I am joined by
Lillian Thomas.
Lillian Thomas. I cannot hear you.
Lillian Thomas.
Yes, and one and only Steve. Is this Steve Kaisie or yeah. Yes.
Stephen Kasiye.
Yes, so I am joined by experts right here in the studio. Lillian, she is a horticulturalist, specialist in soil management and soil. And Stephen is an extension officer with wide knowledge on different crops, from tea, coffee, horticultural crops like tomatoes, onions, but also something else that he does very good is farm planning, and most importantly is irrigation systems design. Karibuni sana, welcome. This is a Farmers Mid-Morning Show. We are a bit late today due to some technical hitches. I have been away, but we are coming back bigger, bolder, and better. And so, jumping into the discussion, what happened to greenhouses? We see in Kajiado County, we have so many greenhouses that are just dead.
It is a failed system.
Failed system.
Failed system for most farmers who really don't know about the management. So it ends up failing at the latter end. It doesn't give you the benefits it should be giving you. And Pia, if you are to look at it, people don't have much knowledge about greenhouses. So people are getting into greenhouse farming without the knowledge. So you're doing it because someone either recommended it, or you've seen someone doing it, but you don't really do your research and gather the knowledge you need.
Very interesting. Steve, what are your insights? What happened to greenhouses?
Greenhouses,
Yes.
as I know, many youths or many farmers always say that the conditions in the greenhouse are not favorable to our health.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why they are getting away from the greenhouses.
So, was it a ripoff? Was it a lie? Was it a hype? What was it?
That's just a hype because you have to adapt the conditions in the greenhouse, and if you adapt, you'll be able to work in without any problem.
But tuliambiwa, when you are growing in a greenhouse, you will. I'm saying this because I'm a living testimony of a failed system. You go into this.
When you look at the initial plan, why people came out with the greenhouses, it was for the colder regions, okay?
Yes.
Because in a greenhouse, you can really have really warm temperatures as compared to the outside.
Yes.
But let's come now to a place like Kenya. Kenya, kwanza sahi, we have a very great climatic shift. Like
Yes.
with our conditions, zinaendaga extreme.
Yes.
Very high temperatures, very low temperatures. Tunaenda to the extreme.
Yes.
And the way a greenhouse is supposed to be designed,
Yes.
it is supposed to adapt to your climatic conditions. But now you find vitu tunapewa Kenya haziko adapted to that. So sisi temperatures zikigonga juu, when they go so high,
We are out.
this farmer is making losses like nobody's problem.
But even before going so far, why did greenhouses come in place first? Because for a very long time, we never used to plant greenhouses. What purpose was it supposed to serve? Because there must have been a reason why greenhouses, first of all, even somebody decided to bring greenhouses, and which they are not green, and I don't understand.
They are called green because farming is the one which is done there. Yeah, okay.
But what about outside? I hear open green, not open green, not open green farming. Yes.
Okay, I think reasons why greenhouse were put in place. This is just because in the open field we have different diseases and pests. So the first person to come up with the greenhouse knew that if the crops are in, they will not be attacked by different pests and diseases that are outside. So the management of those pests, we are just minimizing those pests because we have because you have different designs.
Yes.
As you check the greenhouse, you
Yes.
have two doors at
Yes.
the entrance.
Yes.
So you have the first door
Yes.
and the second door.
Yes.
So the doors help us to keep the conditions that are in the greenhouse different from the open field. So in the greenhouse, when you are entering the door, you have to open the first door, close, and open the second door. And the reason why you are having the first door is just to keep the conditions and the required things, or to prevent the crops or the soils from exposing the crops outside the field.
But I come back and ask, is it profitable? Because the costs are not as I mean, if you're just keeping pests away, isn't it easy just to spray, scout, make sure? I mean, looking at the cost that of setting up a greenhouse, isn't it just better to make sure that you have someone who is scouting and making sure the spraying is being done nicely, or just use an insect net? You see, I'm not saying greenhouses are bad, but what are the options that we should have looked at, considering what you're saying about the two doors? Most farmers don't understand why those two doors are there, by the way. There's a farm I visited, and many, by the way, and they say that when you enter, you change your clothes there and put it there, then you enter with other clothes. So is that the case? How do, even if it's one door, can you put a net, and then unaingia vile unajua kwa nyumba saa zingine kuna na mlango alafu neti. Alafu unaingia. So I want us to look at and help farmers, by the way, and those who are watching us, thank you very much for joining us. This is a Farmers Made Morning Show, and we're discussing about greenhouses, and we have experts here in studio, telling us the profitability. But even before going to the profitability, why greenhouse? Why was it designed? How, and if it is just to keep, for example, to manage the temperatures, my friend, inside greenhouses in Kitegela, Kajiado, Machakos, it's hotter than outside.
Yeah.
So is it only to keep pests away? Because if it's temperatures, it's like we're not saying the truth. Is it only temperatures, or is it only pests, or temperatures and pests? Because I'm still to understand. Because what I saw, and I stand to be corrected, greenhouse farming came in at a certain point, and it was introduced together with greenhouse varieties of crops. So it matched and synchronized very well. I do you think there was something crafty? It is business. It is biashara. Let us be honest. Because I remember when I visited one of the companies that does greenhouse farming, I was told, and by the way, you have to grow these varieties.
Specific.
Yeah, we have specific.
So in fact, how it was, how I was lured is, we construct for you, and then we give you 1,000 seeds, na fertilizer, na dawa. By the time you realize, my friend, there's something called tuta absolute. So let us know from you guys, why is it important to do greenhouse farming? First of all, if it is important.
So he has mentioned about the pests and diseases.
But I want us to dwell on that kidogo. Do you mean that somebody who's growing crops outside will not harvest as much as inside the greenhouse?
The person doing open field can get much, but under good agricultural practices.
Yes.
Because it requires intensive care when you are doing outside. Compared to a greenhouse.
Yes.
Yeah, the management in the greenhouse is not that much compared to the open field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Continue.
Okay. So you'll get that a farmer who is spending his time, or who is committed in farming and is doing open field, and is always in the farm, will be able to achieve what he or she is targeting per unit area. Even in the greenhouse, we have some diseases. We have greenhouse diseases that we always attack our crops.
Yes.
And
inside the greenhouse.
Yeah, inside the greenhouse. We have the diseases that normally attack our crops. And if there is a poor management, I will get a big loss compared to the outside.
Yes. Yeah. So what does that mean? Because is it so you're saying that the greenhouse diseases in greenhouse based diseases, and pests also, because me, I know from my little biology that I did in class 6, 7, pests tend to hatch more eggs. Is it to hatch or to lay? They lay
temperatures.
in higher temperatures, production of
Very high.
of pests, even diseases. If you take something like, I am a testimony of a of this failure. If you take something like powdery mildew and you lock it inside a greenhouse,
Spread fast.
my friend,
You're done.
in less than 2 days, your crop is dead, finished.
True.
So, what is the economic significance? Is there any significant reason as to why somebody should get into greenhouse farming? I mean, greenhouse farming, constructing greenhouses.
Maybe climates. Maybe according to what I can think,
Yes.
if you are in a colder place, maybe it will come in handy because of the climate. You can always need your temperatures.
Yes.
But not for people like people in Kitengela.
Yes.
The temperatures are very high. Zinaendanga extreme. You
Yes.
need like to shift because ukiangalia greenhouse mobs zinatumika huku nje no.
Yes.
They have the polythene plastic film being used.
Yes.
Which you find when the temperatures go so high,
Yes.
to say the temperatures outside are like 30.
Yes.
In the greenhouse, zita range from 31 to 41 hapo. Very high, very high.
Yes.
And it's a thing in the past because history ya abandonment of the greenhouses.
Yes.
People from around places like Kirinyaga and everyone who are doing tomato farming in greenhouses started abandoning it. And then when research was being done, it noticed temperatures zinaenda high, and then you guys can't do anything about it.
Exactly.
And they found it is the structure you are using. And then they came up with this thing where you'd rather use a shade net instead of using the polythene film, because the shade net allows more of better circulation of the air and everything, so the humidity itapunguza hata ile nini diseases zinaweza spread haraka zinapungua. So also the structure really matters, because I feel if you are in a place where the temperatures go very high, you'd rather be using a structure that has a shade net instead of you using a structure that has the polythene film yenye inafanya the temperatures go very high.
So what you're saying, Lillian, is it is not just the greenhouse. It is more or less how the structure has been constructed.
How the structure has been constructed. And hata ukiangalia the prices, by the way, they vary. The shade net is very expensive.
Yes.
And you know, someone atafikiria nichukue kitu ya 80,000 badala ya 100,000. But in the long run, nichukue kitu ya 80,000. And then the temperatures venye sahi Kenya, like tunaambiwa kunaweza kuwa na drought in some places. The temperatures hit high. You can make 100% loss. Like vitu zina dry tu kwa greenhouse. Boom, you're done.
Let me tell you a story. We had a greenhouse. And let me tell you the truth, the way that greenhouse started drying, it was not a joke. It was not a joke. I'm telling my guys, wake a magic. Let's open the water. Let's put water. Like we open the water, it's there. We touch the soil, we make sure we're touching the soil and making sure to confirm the soil water is there.
Aduna dhani shida ni product umetumia.
The nets on the side, we open the curtain, you know, the side curtain, the wind is blowing in, but still it is too hot. And that's, I mean, one of the reasons we started discussing this is because it's a very hot topic. Actually, it's a topic that one of my friends is called Eric Onchonga, the founder of eRehab. What he asked this question last week, and there were very many discussions, you know, very many comments that came through. It was actually a discussion on Twitter. And I said it would be nice to really bring in fact, even the photos that we're using during this show is actually courtesy of eRehab. And you see very clearly as you drive in from Mlolongo, Athi River, coming in all the way to Kitengela, if you drive in I mean, even just outside our offices, we've seen some of the just greenhouses that are just there. And the structures are so expensive. You know, let me tell you, to construct an 8 by 30 greenhouse, it is close to around, using a friend of mine who does greenhouses, he's very good in terms of greenhouses and basically farm mathematics. Farm mathematics, what is his name? I'll mention it as we go. It's 240 shillings per square meter. You know, that is not cheap.
True.
It's very expensive. We're talking about close to around 300,000, and that's if you're going to get a metal structure. So what I wanted to find out from you guys is there a standard for constructing a greenhouse in terms of the height, in terms of the width, the height? Why is it 8 by 30? You know, there's 8 by 15 and 8 by 30. Why isn't it higher? Is there any standard that people should follow? What do you guys think? What works well? Because you see, it's all about aeration.
Yeah.
It's about aeration.
Sure.
The higher the roof, probably the more the temperature. Or what can farmers do to avoid? Is it the quality of the pepper? Here there's 200 microns, there's 120 microns, I don't know, UV, what, all those things. What do you think?
I think on the quality of the pepper also has the impact in the
Just speak a bit
greenhouse.
louder. I'm being told to just speak a bit louder.
I think the quantity of the pepper
Yes.
has the impact
Yeah.
in the greenhouse because the stronger the polythene
Yes.
is, I will get that inside the greenhouse the temperatures
Yes.
are extremely high because the sun
Yes.
will just hit the polythene and it is not white, it is transparent.
Yes.
The UV rays zinaingia kwa greenhouse so it encloses the all heat inside the greenhouse,
Greenhouse, yes.
so the temperatures get high. But also we have different structures. We have a semicircular greenhouse which are just semicircle
Yes.
constructed on the ground, but we have some which are raised but the roof is semicircular again. So many people always use the ones that are being raised first.
Yes.
And the roof be constructed semicircular.
Yes.
Because if you put direct semicircular
Yes.
on the ground, the roof is so near and the temperatures will not be favorable to the greenhouse workers.
So, you said so. So that means that whatever we are talking about is that it's not about the greenhouse. It's more or less the structure, the design of how it should look like. Those small bits as you mentioning, like the height, from ground level to high. And is there anything that you can do to humidify? For example, in a room that is hot, in hot areas, you'll find that the AC is there. For example, like here in the studio, we have an AC. What about in the greenhouse? Is there something that you can do? I hear there's a fungicide that you spray on top when it's too hot. How do you go about that?
I think in many propagation units that I have been doing, we have been using this shade net. You get that you have constructed a greenhouse, but on the top,
Yes.
inside the roof, you add a shade net. These ones will prevent. We have different shade nets that have a different percentage.
Yes.
You have that one of 60, you have that one of 70 shade. So many farmers
Yes.
normally use that one of 70% shade
Yes.
to ensure that the UV rays don't hit direct to the crops.
Yes.
And this one will help our crops to have a conducive environment because when the temperature is high, we'll have some metabolism and the crops will have stresses and will not do well. So the shade net will help us, or will help the farmer or the greenhouse users
Yes.
to have a conducive and a good working environment because the UV light will not be hitting the person direct.
No,
So, yes.
let's just say, from what he's saying, if you are in a colder place, you are advised to use a lighter shade net because you don't really need the temperature sana. If you are in a very hot area, you use a very heavy shade net in a side area. So that's the difference. In a colder place, you use a lighter one. In a hotter place, you use a heavier shade net.
Now, I am a farmer in Western Kenya. Yes, I come from Western Kenya. And there's somebody else, a farmer in Machakos County. In Western Kenya, some areas, like I think where Stephen comes from, they call it PG. It gets really hot.
Yeah.
Remember whenever we talk, yes.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, it's also hot. And by the way, it can get as hot as Kitengela sometimes.
Yeah.
So how do you regulate that? Because you want to also grow throughout the year. Yes. We'll be talking to somebody who does greenhouse farming. Who constructs greenhouse farming, and we'll just find out more from him. But we've talked about some very, very important points there. And one of the things that for you as a viewer who's watching and who's a farmer who's either thinking about starting greenhouse farming or the rest, it is important to actually look at some of these facts, which we will be sharing in the comment section later on, after during the break and after the show. We'll be sharing some of these highlights that we're being guided on in terms of the size of the greenhouse, number one, the type of structure. That's something else that you're mentioning as well. The type of crops, does that matter? The type of crops. If I'm doing spinach for the greenhouse, is it profitable? First of all, is it worth it?
Okay.
I mean, what are the crops that are profitable? Why should I plant which crop? I mean, which crop should I plant where in a greenhouse? I've seen some farmers doing spinach, some cabbage, some herbs, some tomatoes.
Broccoli.
Yes.
But majorly they use tomatoes.
Why?
And capsicum.
Because they are profitable. The prices are quite high compared to these other vegetables like spinach.
My friend, kuna siku niliuza crate mzima shilingi 500 kutoka greenhouse. I know the funny thing about this. Yes, I'm telling you the truth. And then the funniest thing about this is the fact, just a simple fact. Sometimes you go to the market and they tell you, the ladies at the market tell you, as we don't buy tomatoes from the greenhouse. They are too big, they have too many chemicals. But when I look at even the amount of chemicals I use in the greenhouse as compared to outside, inside the greenhouse is very minimal.
Do you know knowledge, information that people have out here? I think on a
Is
discussion.
it the information the ladies in the market have, or is it the information the farmers don't have? Because I mean, you hear farmers saying, they don't buy greenhouse tomatoes.
It works both ways. Our wote hawana information. They don't have the knowledge. Like our on a greenhouse, it's something like out of this world. Si kitu normal. Unanga venye ukileta mboga kubwa, they always have an illusion. Oh, hii sijui imepandwa na nini, sijui imepandwa na nini.
We'll be talking about organics. We have organics, and we'll be talking about it. Your mboga kubwa umesema big vegetables. What brings big vegetables?
Yeah.
Steven, let me ask you this question. I still want us to dwell on that fact that there are some crops that you can grow inside the greenhouse, but also same crops. I've been growing tomatoes and capsicum and everything open field, and they've done pretty well. In the greenhouse, yes, they are doing much better, definitely.
Yeah.
But when the disease comes in, so what I wanted to find out is, number one, so that we go in one direction. Is it profitable to do greenhouse farming? Yes or no? Mambo ya kwenda, don't cut corners. Yes or no?
Yes.
It is profitable.
Yeah.
Better than open field.
Yeah.
Lilia.
Yes, with good management practice.
Mambo ya bad.
But you see, no.
Somebody is investing 300,000 in less than an eighth of an acre. In less than 300,000, kabla hata kuvuna. You know, by the moment you buy a greenhouse,
but now we always say, at a farming yenye unafanya, it will only be profitable if you do it right.
But
if you do it wrong, bado ni losses.
I mean, if I go to a consultant and a consultant tells me, if you construct houses in Kitengela, 1-bedroom houses, self-contained, you'll make more money than constructing a 3-bedroom house.
True.
But I'll spend so much money constructing
The house, yeah.
But so we leave the thing of practice, my good practices to the rest, because if I am growing, what can I say? If I am selling greenhouses to farmers, I should give after sale service. Every company that is selling greenhouses needs to have an extension officer in different regions. True or false?
True.
Okay, because that comes in a good agricultural practice. I mean, I can also construct a greenhouse and niamue equal store. Actually, right now it's more of those greenhouses around stores. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You know the mentality that many farmers came with.
Yes.
In the greenhouse.
Yes.
First, when the F1 varieties or these hybrid varieties of crops came, they were told that they cannot be grown outside.
Yes.
So, and they are highly productive. They give high yields per unit area.
Yes. But they are a risk taker. And I grew them outside. And they work very well.
And they did well. It was a scam.
Now, people are leaving these local breeds.
Yes.
They are going for F1 breeds.
Yes.
For
Why?
them, they
as
want,
an extension officer.
yes.
What is the reason?
The F1 breeds,
Yes.
we always advise farmers to use them because they are free from diseases and they give high yields.
But why should the farmer Anyway, this is a very interesting question. Why should I plant hybrid seed? And you've not told me how I should test my soil. Because if it's Fusarium wilt, it's Fusarium wilt.
Yes. First thing.
Or is it an assumption farmers have tested their soil?
Before doing anything like farming
Yes.
or constructing the greenhouse, you must do a soil sampling and soil test to ensure that your soil, you claim your soil first before you construct a greenhouse. But if you just wake up one morning and say that you want to construct a greenhouse somewhere,
Yes.
I will not make, because you'll get some losses than the person growing the crop outside and the soil is good.
Pause there. If you have comments, let us know. If you have any questions, let us know. We're discussing about greenhouse farming. Is it profitable? Is it really profitable? Is it cost-wise in terms of returns on investment? Is it a capital expense that should be factored in? After how long should you be able to reap the benefits? We'll be taking a short break. But remember, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to our Facebook channel. Follow us on the Farmers. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Farmers Media, where we want to tell you stories of African farmers. We'll be right back.
Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. Agriculture provides most of the world's food and fabrics. It is not only a source of food and income, but also creates employment opportunities for many people in the world. Over 1 billion people worldwide work in agriculture, generating 2.4 trillion for the global economy. The global impact of farming on the environment is revealed that 40% of the Earth's land is now given over to agriculture. Agricultural development is one of the most powerful tools to end extreme poverty, boost shared prosperity, and feed a projected 9.7 billion people by 2050. And we, the Our Farmers Media, roll the carpet for you as we welcome you to our thrilling farm visits to different farmers that educate and inspire you in different sectors in agriculture. Catch us also on our shows on all our social media platforms as we bring you educative and informative information that will help you learn and guide you on your agriculture journey to success. Our farmers attain knowledge and grow profits.
welcome back to a Farmer's Mid-Morning Show right here from County 034. And today we are discussing something very interesting thing, something that I think we have been seeing in the news. We have been seeing in our media, in the newspapers, on other channels. But most importantly, we've been seeing it on the ground. The greenhouse farming. Is it really profitable? Is it something that you should venture in as a farmer? If you have been successful, let us know in your comment section. This is your Mid Morning Show, your host Noah Nasali Kadima, and today I am joined by two of my colleagues. This is Steve as well as Lillian Thomas. She has another name called Mora. Hey, Lillian. And this is something that we're discussing very interesting, and it's really painful to see investments, a lot of money being put into farming, into I normally call them capex, capital expenses, and farmers are not reaping. 1-2 seasons later on, the greenhouse, the greenhouse, the polythene paper on top is torn, the crops are drying, the soil inside is developing hard pans because it's not being aerated well. And these are the challenges of greenhouse farming, especially farming in hot areas. And one of the things that we're discussing today is farming in the coast region. And we will be joined in by one of our friends, our top fan, but most importantly, one of the people who has the heart of farmers in whatever they do. This is somebody who I met online, I met in the group. I've tested some of the products, and you can see some of the products here, all the way from Organics and Allied, and we'll be talking to them later on. But as we continue this discussion, and we have also created some polls in Africa Farmers Club in a group. Again, this is your award-winning farmers channel, Farmers Media. And before we went for a break, Steve, you were mentioning something very interesting. You mentioned that sometimes it's education that farmers don't have. As an extension officer, what would you advise farmers who have done greenhouse farming or who are doing greenhouse farming? What can they do to succeed?
Okay. First, before a farmer to start a greenhouse,
Yes.
Must have an expertise, and we always advise farmers,
Yes.
To ensure that the person who is doing the greenhouse or who is dealing with the crops in the greenhouse,
Yes.
must be knowing the pests, diseases, and how to manage them. So they should not just start when they don't have the expertise. And also, they can ask some information that we have. We can assist where they have difficulties,
Yes.
for them to ensure that they are getting what they're targeting in their greenhouses.
So let me ask you, somebody wants to start planting potatoes. Can they do it in a greenhouse?
Really,
Yes
most
and
of it,
no.
no.
So what are these top 5 crops that somebody should be able to do in a greenhouse well, and why?
Okay. First one, we have tomatoes,
Yes.
we have broccoli, we have lettuce, we have capsicum, and some do cabbages, but I don't advise many farmers to, or most farmers to do cabbages.
Why?
Because cabbage, when it reaches at harvesting stage,
Yes.
you just harvest once.
Yes.
But like tomatoes, we harvest for a period. It takes some times, and you have got what you are targeting. But like cabbages, you will just harvest the heads once, and it is done. And it's taking big space, compared to tomatoes.
So technically, greenhouse farming is profitable, but you have to do so many other things. You have to put so much into consideration in terms of so many other things. Does that involve how can you be able to know if you start from the construction of the greenhouse itself? How can you be sure this is the right materials?
You have to do consultants first, to greenhouse expertise.
Yes.
And they'll be able to show you the greenhouse that they have been constructing with the different materials and the performance.
Okay.
So you'll be able to identify and know the best material that we'll have to use for you to get what you are targeting in your farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to do your research well as a farmer.
Yeah.
You don't just get excited and
constructing a greenhouse
and putting crops inside.
Because many farmers just wake up and decide they want to start a greenhouse farming, and they will go for a wrong materials,
Mhm.
and with the time you'll get that the material are being told they get weared out faster because of the UV rays that
Yes.
are hitting, and
Yes.
they will end up losing their greenhouses and getting back to open field.
But first of all, hata kabla tu, before you go so far,
Mhm.
who said greenhouse farming is the best way? I've visited farmers across the world, and I visited farmers in California. They don't do greenhouse farming. I've visited some of the best farms in Naivasha. You know, the big farms. They don't do greenhouse farming.
Okay, the greenhouses,
Yes.
you say that it is a business that
Yes.
people are doing,
Uh-huh.
because when they brought greenhouses,
Yes.
they brought the varieties that can survive there. Okay.
Now Steve is quoting me. He's misquoting me.
No,
Uh-huh. Yes.
you know, we have varieties
Mm.
of crops that
Mhm.
can survive and do well in the greenhouse. You cannot just grow a local breed in the greenhouse. Many farmers see that it is like wasting your space in the greenhouse, because local varieties, they say that they don't have high yields.
Yes.
So the farmers
Mhm.
that are doing greenhouse farming,
Mhm.
as extension officers,
Yes.
we advise farmers
Mhm.
to do crops that are free from diseases
Yes.
and that are tolerant from different pests and diseases.
Mhm.
So you get that the F1 breeds or hybrid varieties
Yes.
are the one which have those characters.
Mhm.
If you go for the indigenous one or local varieties,
Yes.
you'll get that they are not hardy in a greenhouse. So you'll get that farmers want more or need more
Mhm.
from their greenhouses.
Mhm.
Even if it is 8 by 15,
Mhm.
they want to get more kgs of tomatoes
Yes.
or more and healthy heads of cabbages.
Yes.
But I say that I will not advise my farmers to do cabbages in the greenhouse.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as we are targeting more, for us to be successful farmers,
Yes.
we have to target more and get what we want. But if you make laws for the first time, second time, and the third time, you'll just quit from farming and you'll do farming and you will see farming as an enemy. But
Unaweka kuku hapo ndani. I've seen some videos that are ng'ombe na graze huko ndani. So let me ask you, as you're mentioning about profitability,
Mhm.
what then can you do once you've done? How many times can you plant tomatoes in your greenhouse? How many times? 1 season, 2 season, 3 seasons before you rotate? Because rotation is very important. You'll never get a tractor. So how do you make sure that you stop the soil from getting hard pans, because it's not being aerated, meaning that it's developing some hard pan. How do you manage that?
Okay. When you are doing crop rotation,
Mhm.
after removing your tomato crop,
Mhm.
you can just use you can plan without any. You should not have a target, or you should just do for a leisure, like planting leguminous crops there,
Mhm.
to ensure that you are doing a nitrogen fixation,
Mhm.
to ensure that your soil is in good conditions.
Yes.
As you apply this farmyard manure or compost manure,
Mhm.
to ensure that your soil is in good conditions.
So when you talk about nitrogen fixation,
Mhm.
what is that?
Nitrogen fixation,
Yes.
this is where nitrogen that is available in the soil,
Mhm.
we have leguminous crops like cowpeas,
Yes.
like
Beans.
yeah, like beans,
Mhm.
which help in the nitrogen fixation. This helps the living organisms, microorganisms
Mhm.
in the soil to have a good and conducive environment in the soil, and they will help in the soil aeration, and the soil will not lose its life, will have life. And when you come back, also before that, you have to apply this compost manure. This
Mhm.
compost manure is just like for the first time is a soil conditioner.
Okay.
It makes soil to have a good aeration and also feed the microorganisms in the soil.
Fantastic. So I just want us, for those who are watching us, let us know if you can be able to see some of the images that we'll be showing. Again, I repeat, these images are courtesy of Irihab, my friend Eric Nchonga, who has an expertise in actually setting up greenhouses, fantastic greenhouses, irrigation systems as well. So always, if you would like to have this, you can contact him on Facebook, on Twitter, all social media handles, Irrihab, your experts in irrigation. So if you can, if our producer can be able to just showcase some of the photos of those greenhouses, because this is a sad state. We saw a while back there's something going on about irrigation systems, about greenhouse farming, profitable. But I saw that initially that kind of system, whatever farmers were being lured into, was mainly to buy the land, because there were two things. There was a time that it was mostly talking about irrigation system. The importance of greenhouse farming. But what people were being lured into is to buy land. When you buy land, that land, then you have a greenhouse, and then it can give you 600,000 shillings per year. I do not understand. I've never understood how that is, because me, I've never got 600,000 in the last 14 years. So if you look at it, some of the photos that we have there, I don't know if the photos are up on screen, if you can be able to see them. Let us know what your thoughts are. Yes, let us know what your thoughts are, especially as you look at these greenhouses that are torn. The structure is still there, but now the paper is torn, and they're not one. We are seeing weeds as high as 7 feet inside these greenhouses, and looking at that structure, Lydia, what is running through your mind as you look at these structures and basically, yes, what if you were doing this? What would be going through?
No, I think people did it, and then maybe walishindwa kumanage. In the process, walishindwa kumanage. So they end up abandoning it.
Pause. That is where I think my bone of contention is coming. That is where you have now pricked my heart. How did they fail to manage?
You didn't have the information. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing.
Why did they buy it? Who sold this to them?
No, I think I should read something very interesting I've seen in our comment section.
Yes.
One person says, Mike Azingale. So when we asked about what happened, he says the situation of deserted greenhouses is all over Kenya. The farmers are lied to about quick returns and ready markets for their produce. But the same people who are selling both the idea and materials, you get like venye tumesema, it's a business. People are just selling an idea to you. You buy the idea, but without full information.
The people build big houses and they don't even stay there.
And then he says these projects are capital intensive and many of them hardly break. Just one crop and you are tired. You are unable to continue because una make losses from what you were lied to. Umekuja ukaambiwa you will get 300,000, they will be saying, ama 600. And then you get 50.
Hata upati, my friend. Kwanza kuna kitu inaitwa tuta absoluta. Tuta absoluta gets that crop and starts licking it like ice cream. The way people lick ice cream. In a lick in a maliza. Continue what Mike is saying.
Mike Azingale. I had moved to something else I have seen over there.
Next.
Yes, let me just tell you something that some lady has said. Sheila.
Yes.
Sheila has commented and says, Sheila Chepkosgei. He said, greenhouse has a lot of many challenges. So I asked her, what challenges have you experienced? So she says, for tomatoes, she had a challenge with the market and with tuta absoluta. For capsicum, she had a challenge with markets and hardening or deforming of the fruit. So I went ahead and asked, is it that there are no markets for greenhouse products? Because she has a challenge with the market too.
Are they too big like this?
I know. And then unapeleka mama wa mboga ako like, hizi vitu umetumia madawa mingi. Mimi sinunui.
GMO product.
I think the conversation tulikuwa nayo hapa on Friday na Sarah. Akisema the way people wanaonanga hiyo product kubwa, wanajua tu ni GMO, and people have an illusion that GMO are evil.
Nilipeleka horse moja City Park Market to a friend of mine there, and he said that and he said that iho kwani unaweka nini? Kwani ni GMO? It was big because 3 of them were 1 kilo. I just continue.
But again, come to think of it, Noah. What information do people have out here about GMOs? Because it's another thing again. On another hand, information gani ko huku nje?
Chemicals
people are producing products. Maybe tunataka tackle the diseases we have. We are trying to solve a problem with the yields. But hiyo information, the local person hana. The local person anajua hizi ni madawa. Hizi madawa zitatufanya tupate cancer. We will die. We will die. So we are not going to consume GMO products. Any products that look so good, the
In a
tomato
garden.
ni kubwa. Ai,
Hey,
hizi
kuna siku
madawa
nilifika
ni zinatuua.
na hoho smart. I remember I planted commandant from Syngenta, and it was big and nice. And you know me, I like capsicum. But that's my best crop. Mtu akaniuliza, hey, kwani umepaka mafuta? Have you applied oil on this? They're shining nicely. So they started wondering, you know, until somebody had to cut them, one of them inside and check, and I'm like, oh, it's just capsicum. You know, so that's a very interesting point you're saying. There's a comment that has really struck me here, and I think we should actually, our producer, if you can just put some of the comments from the question that we've asked, is the comment by Mike Azingale. Very interesting. Very interesting. Mike Azingale is a friend of mine. Is my neighbor back in the village as well. An expert in this industry. He's been here for quite a long time. He's one of our members for a long time. He said that one thing that I've managed is that those who try to manage 3 years of losses and disappointment. 3 years of losses and disappointment. You know, there's farming. There's disappointment in farming, farming, and then there's disappointment in farming in greenhouses.
Yeah, they're different.
It is the worst thing. To get disappointed in greenhouse farming is the worst.
Because you expect it should be making your farming easier and better.
Do you know, in open field, sometimes you say, let me approve
Kitu inaweza happen.
let me approve this crop. In greenhouse farming, you cannot say, let me just tell this greenhouse. You know, because it's a challenge, and nobody has told us how to even repair a small torn part of the greenhouse. How to repair, you know, farmers have been left loose.
There's something Olelei actually has mentioned.
One
Olelei Emmanuel.
Yes.
He says the cost of management,
Yes.
the cost of the structure, and the cost of repair is almost the same and a little bit too expensive.
Yes.
So unapata ikiharibika, bana. Mimi badala I take more money and take it back for repair and nini, I'd rather achane na your greenhouse, by the way, because it's getting expensive.
Yes.
But you know, there's something Mike Azingale, ukimalizia his comment, he said these greenhouses were meant for areas with harsh climatic conditions like Egypt. In Kenya, ni biashara tu and a social symbol of class.
Hey, Mike umechoma. Mike umechoma sana. Mike amechoma sana.
Amejam. Ili fail.
We will try and get Mike
he
on
should
phone.
tell us his experience.
We'll try and get Mike on phone to tell us. And so if you're a farmer and you're watching us, let us know in the comment section in our group. Let us know the experience that you're getting as a farmer. You know, Steve, let me ask you. I'm farming, again, I bring this question back again. I'm farming in Kericho. And I want to plant tomatoes. And I have been told the only way you can plant tomatoes in Kericho is greenhouse. Do you think that can work? I mean, for me, I think it can work. I've seen a very good friend of mine who has done this fantastic yes. Do you think it can work?
Yeah, it can work because, as I have said, you know, before starting greenhouse farming or any farming in your farm, you have to ensure that you are doing this soil test thing to ensure that this crop can survive there. So whenever the crop can survive, you can construct a greenhouse there, and will be able to manage the greenhouse without any problem.
Considering all factors constant, do you think if I put up a greenhouse in Kericho, it can work?
It can work, but many farmers fear because it is costly. They rather go for open field.
Open field, but the harsh climate, the cold, like Githunguri. Remember when you see the farm in Githunguri?
Yeah.
And he's telling me even up to now they are because it's just raining. You know, do you think so? What are these areas? Which are these areas that greenhouse farming can be successful with all factors constant? When I say factors constant, I mean proper soils, good nutrition, good agricultural practices, as Lillian is favorite, loves saying that and blaming farmers with that. What are these areas that can work very well for greenhouses, for farmers doing greenhouse farming?
Okay, and in areas where there's no this rainfall, farmers can use the greenhouses in these semi-arid areas. Arid and semi-arid areas
Yes.
is where greenhouse can be constructed, and farmer can get what he or she is targeting. So if you go to the areas that is deserted, the conditions in the greenhouse are not good, and we always advise farmers when the conditions are too high and or the temperature are too high in the greenhouse, they should not survive or persevere in such an environment, because they have that something called greenhouse effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. They're called the CFCs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my Nini in Science Congress those days when I was still young.
Okay. So when you're doing arid and semi-arid areas,
Yes.
the conditions outside they are at least favorable. So if you construct a greenhouse there, the conditions in the greenhouse will not be severe to the workers in the greenhouse.
Very
So they will do their work very well, and they will succeed.
There's somebody who has mentioned something very interesting. For those who are watching us, there's a comment here that has come through saying, blocking the wind with a greenhouse is a disaster. Get the wind flow from the experts. I don't know if these are the experts anymore, but meteorological department. And do farming in an informed environment. That's a very interesting comment. You know, there's another one that has actually come through as well. Is that and this is Highness Lumumba. Again, one of our members, one of our viewers says that greenhouse and drip irrigation are just overrated. What do you think, Steve?
Okay. On my side, under a greenhouse and drip irrigation,
Yes.
You know, these are new technologies that came, but we are just doing it in the traditional ways, and we were having the crops that you want and the produce that you want. And now these new technologies tend to be more expensive. So when a farmer hear that you are quoting for him, you are giving him a quotation of an acre for drip irrigation, to get that you are telling him 200,000 shillings, and he'll say, well, how? He will wonder how now. Instead of going for for this drip irrigation, he will go for a pump and buy for a Honda pump, like which will cost 60,000. And he'll do basin.
Irrigation.
Basin irrigation.
But let me ask you. I mean, this is a very interesting discussion because there must be some pros and cons, but still, as you're mentioning about the pumps and all that, I still say that we still don't have a drip irrigation in some of these big farms, even in Kenya. Some of the big farms, I mean, you cannot do, if you're doing wheat, you'll not do that. So what is the disconnect? Is it, and then when you talk to people, they say, no, if you're doing agribusiness, then you need to have drip irrigation, you have to have greenhouses, because, you know, there's some advantages of doing greenhouse farming, definitely. Number one advantage, which I have done, I've seen personally, is that you can plan to grow crops all year round. And when you're doing this, it means that you can manage to control the temperatures, you know, the weather pattern and all that. There's something Lillian is reading and it sounds very funny. It looks reading something, a very interesting comment. And so that is one of the things that I've seen that works well. But what I've seen that does not work well is giving someone, a first-time farmer, a greenhouse. If they do not know even where they will take their produce, that will be a nightmare.
It is a loss.
It is a big loss. Yes. What?
Kuna kitu nimesoma hapa.
Yes.
Tamias Mtweve.
Yes.
He has said greenhouses are not a bad thing, but it's only suitable for areas with limited space and those practicing agriculture as a hobby, not as a serious business.
That should be the comment of the day. Just read that again.
Greenhouses are not a bad. Kwanza, let me read the first part.
Yes.
Greenhouses, from my point of view, is a waste of time and resources.
That's what he has said first.
Imagine limiting your farm from 4,000 square meters to concentrate with your 15 by 8 greenhouse at a cost of nearly 300k.
Plus more.
You then grow tomatoes and harvest 3 crates a week, sold for 1.4k each. When will you break even? Why don't I spend that 300k to manage 2 acres of tomatoes and have more than 300 crates a week? Greenhouses are not a bad thing, but it's only suitable for areas with limited space and those practicing agriculture as a hobby, not as a serious
What if
business.
I extinguish? You have a job.
Why are you so bitter about greenhouses?
Wewe unasema yake-
Ni nini
yake-
shida?
yake inaruka katikati kama yangu.
Hobby.
Hey.
If you have a greenhouse, it's a hobby for you. You're
And it's a
a serious agribusiness.
Let us know who you're watching us. Let us know where you're watching us from. This is the Farmers Mid Morning Show, and we are discussing something very interesting today. As you are hearing, as you're following, it is about greenhouse farming. Is it a fad? Is it a hype? What is it? How can you be successful? If you're an expert doing this, let us know what are the things that farmers neglect, but also let us know what can farmers do better to be able to perfect and get the best out of the greenhouses. There's one of our friends as well, our viewers and our followers, and agronomist Onesimus Mungari. By the way, the cover picture on Africa Farmers Club, our page, that is agronomist Onesimus Mungari's tomatoes. He says something very interesting. He says it could be profitable when you're doing quite a number of greenhouses, so not one greenhouse. So let us also get some of these facts right.
One greenhouse.
You know, yes, exactly. I mean, kama unafanya moja
Ni hobby.
ni hobby. Hiyo ni hobby. And it's a very expensive hobby. I can imagine having a hobby of
300,000.
300,000.
Wow.
Hey. And again, now we want to get to understand some of the things, and some of the things that we can use, we can be able to do is to make sure that you're using the right inputs, the right seed variety. If you've done, as Steve said, you've done your soil test and gotten to understand what it is and what it has and what you can be able to benefit from. Most importantly is the soil structure, the condition of the soil. Is it aerated well? Are you making sure that the soil in the greenhouse does not develop a hard pan? What about the weather inside the greenhouse? You know, how can you be able to make sure that the temperatures inside the greenhouse? But now you see that there are also other things that are coming up now. There's temperature sensor, water. I mean, why should farmers get into all this? Is this what is called, what is it called? The technology, improving agri-tech. They call it agri-tech. Do you think this can really work? This temperature sensors, you know, they say when it senses that it's hot, the air comes in. They're very interesting comments, Lillian, today. Very interesting comments. Do you think that those are some of the things that once you've invested in a greenhouse, you also need to invest in these things? Is it worth it?
I don't think. Because farmers, the moment you are constructing a greenhouse, you can imagine 8 by 15 meters, it costs 300,000, and you will get that a temperature regulator also has its cost. So you may get that what you are getting from the greenhouse, it cannot incur the cost that you used.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why many farmers will not afford. They just do the way they were doing. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And so, in average, we're looking at a very interesting comment, which we will actually take a screenshot and post it in the group from agronomist Onesimus Mungari. He said you cannot start farming with less than 10 greenhouses. The rest will just be a joke, because 10 greenhouses is just a quarter of an acre. It's a hobby.
But no, from what
Yes.
you've asked,
Yes.
there's a very interesting thing I've seen here by Voni Zombiro.
Yes.
Voni
Yes.
Zombiro says,
Yes.
instead of you just invest fully
Yes.
into greenhouse.
Yes.
He says if you have a big land,
Yes.
diversify. Do open field tomatoes, do greenhouse tomatoes.
Yes.
Better still, try fancy tomatoes such as beef tomato that hardly ever go below 100 kg. So nakwambia badala ujifunge. You see the way we are saying, you
Yes.
start going into more technology and everything, which is expensive.
Yes.
You can try both ways.
Yes.
Ukona greenhouse, ukona open field, see what works. At the end of the day, ukame closes up. If place ingine, unaweza pata bado you have something to work with.
Very interesting that comment. I'm following this comment, and very interesting comment, because when he's mentioned some varieties that can grow, manage to harvest for just 4 months. Try this, then come back and say nyanya can't help you break even if with a greenhouse. So again, that sounds more or less a comment that is telling farmers greenhouse, but you plant this variety. You know, that's what we're trying to avoid first. You want to first avoid this capital expense, this capex as a farmer. How much are you putting in, in the farm before you start reaping
the
profits
benefits,
before you start operational costs and all this, because what and which areas, so as we continue talking about this, I can see that there's actually one comment that has come through again. Mike Azingale is up in arms, and then he's actually saying that when he's talking about hey, he says that how can you continue with a venture that's draining your pocket? That neglect says a lot about the whole project. Do you think they neglect something that has been fattening their pockets? Most crops can do well in Kenya without the need of putting up a greenhouse. The only thing I know is fancy farming. People have been lied to with a greenhouse. You will have an upper hand and quick money returns.
That is in relation to what Shishashi has said.
Yes.
Greenhouse business in Kenya is just another way of losing money, as the paper you are likely to be sold cannot last 5 years. Most people just end up losing their finances. The beneficiaries are those who are selling materials
Yes.
and ideas to Kenyan farmers. Open field works just as well. Let me just stick to farming seasons in my country, Kenya. Waste of money enriching the already rich. I better stick to farming seasons in Kenya under open field. The risk is manageable.
Kabisa.
I lose a little but make more in the end. Cost cutting is very applicable. I brought mine down after falling a victim. So this is a victim. Shishashi.
I told you.
Shishashi. Farmers wanateseka huku nje. Watu wana struggle no.
Struggle is real.
The struggle is real. Kwa ground.
Between different. Very interesting. And so let us know your thoughts again. Share some of your thoughts. We'll be talking about the same. Our work here at the Farmers Media is to tell the story of African farmers. And after telling the stories of African farmers, we want to ask ourselves, how can we come together and develop some of these solutions that can work well for us? If you're a farmer in Western Kenya, do you really need a greenhouse? What can you do? Would you opt for shed net? I know Lillian has so many stories today, and which we'll be discussing and adding more. We'll be taking a very short break, and when we come back, we want to talk to one of our experts who will tell us how farming in the coast is, how it has been, how it has grown. That is a discussion that we want to get in our second part. We will be taking a short break from here, counting 034.
Here at the Farmers, we help you in the identification of crop pest diseases and nutrition deficiencies in crops for your successful farming. So if you want, I want to give you more information about the crop pest diseases, you can follow me in the farm to get more information from me. Hi farmers, as you can see here, we are doing cowpeas production, and this is an indigenous crop, vegetable crop. It was there in a traditional era. You can see here, these crops are almost 1.5 weeks, and we have not used anything like manure, fertilizers, and sprays or agrochemicals. We have just watered them, and you can see, as you can see, they are very much healthy. As I have said that these indigenous crops, vegetables, we normally produce them on organic soil, but this crop also it requires different soils, and it grows in various soils, but the best soils where this variety grows or this type of crop grows is sand, because the roots will penetrate well without any disturbance, and the crop will be very healthy. The thing that is necessary, is most necessary here, is just water. Watering is essential, and to water, you can water them early in the morning and late in the evening. Why early in the morning and late in the evening? When the sun is not that hot, to reduce the evaporation rate, to ensure that your crop utilizes all water that you are putting in on it, to ensure that you have a dramatic yield per unit area. As you can see here, our bed is very clean, and we normally water every morning and every evening. I can urge farmers to enroll into this business because cowpeas, it doesn't require those technical skills, management skills, and everything that is technical. There's nothing that is technical there. Farmers that have small scales, they can enroll into this business because scales or these cowpeas doesn't require a large space, because they can get congested together, and you get a dramatic yield per unit area. That one of congestion together doesn't have any problem because they do well. And as you know that this cowpeas, it is a leguminous crop, which and it fixes nitrogen in the soil, so it doesn't require any fertilizers to grow this cowpeas, because it fixes nitrogen in the soil and uses it. So I can urge all farmers to enroll into this business. As you have a small farm, don't think that you are thinking for big things which requires to be a plantation. This one you can have almost half an acre and you reap a lot. You can get more salary from this, more income from this, as you improve your living standards. So there's nothing like technical skills. I want to assure you that if you start, you will get good things and good yields. Just maintaining good agricultural practices, to follow them all, and you will ensure that your crops are clean, your crops are healthy. When you do the proper sanitation, you will be removing all the weeds which can be host to the growing of pathogens, and also the hosts of these insect pests and diseases. So if you eradicate all shrubs and all obstacles from the farm to remain clean, you'll be able to achieve, and your production, your vegetable production, will be successful. So I will urge you all to enroll into this business, and you'll be happy to see your production coming out. Thank you.
Welcome back to a Farmers Mid Morning Show. Your host Noah Nasiali Kadima. Tunakuletea maneno mazuri ambayo yanaweza kufaidisha wewe kama mkulima uweze kupata mazao bora, jambo ambalo litatufurahisha sisi kama Farmers Media ili kuweza kujibunu, uweze kuwezesha maendeleo yako katika ukulima, lakini pia ikuletee pesa mfukoni. Welcome back to Farmers Media. This is your host Noah Nasiale Kadima. Lilian, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Umestruggle na Kiswahili.
Why are you laughing?
But why are you struggling?
I'm not struggling. I speak.
Sauti ya mkulima kesho.
Welcome back. Here we're discussing about greenhouse farming, but now we want to take just a slight change. And what we want to start doing is that we want to start talking about what are the opportunities of farming in the coast. What happens? And for that, we will be joining in a discussion with one of our experts who will tell us much more about himself. And apart from just telling himself, he'll also tell us about what he does, especially as an expert. Let us try and get him on phone. I don't know if we can be able to get him on phone. Yes. Hello? Hello. Modar, you can get me?
I can get you.
Okay, karibu sana Modar. Let us start by you telling us who you are and what you do.
Okay, thank you very much, Noah. My name is Modar.
Your voice is quite low.
My name is Modar.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
My name is Modar. I'm born, bred in Mombasa.
Yes.
Okay. I produce organic liquid seaweed fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am a father. I am a husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I am a farmer.
Good stuff.
Yes.
So let me ask you, how long have you been farming?
My experience started way in the 90s, because then I used to work for a horticultural export company.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that was where I got the basics of farming.
All right.
Okay, I was working for Greenfields Exporters at that time. At that time, it was a big company.
Yes.
Yeah, I was under the mentorship of Mr. Fadili Namoya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I cannot stop praising this guy, because he's made me who I am today.
Okay.
Okay, so my experience in farming started there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for about a decade, that was what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved out. I went to the Gulf, worked in the Gulf. When I came back, I picked up where I left.
Mm-hmm.
I started with my uncle's farm,
Mm-hmm.
and then my auntie's farm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
After that, I've been getting few contracts here and there to manage a few people's farms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, that's where my experience in farming is.
So now, let me ask you, before we get into about anything else that you're doing, like the liquid seaweed fertilizer, farming under greenhouses, what do you think about it? Is it a reality? Is it profitable? Is it ama ni hype too? Sometimes unapata kitu ni hype too.
Yes.
Unapata something is hype. Mtu anasema I want to grow strawberries on 5 acres. Is it a hype? Some of those things the story too.
Yes, I had that comment. Somebody said that greenhousing and drip lines are overrated.
What do you think?
You see, these are all new technologies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The best thing about this is that it's controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
If you're working in a greenhouse, you can expect you'll have less stress fighting diseases, fighting pests. Okay. And of course, the yields are also bigger. So personally, I think greenhousing and drip lines are essential right now.
Essential a must, or essential if you can afford?
If you can afford. If you can afford, it's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unfortunately, here at the coast, greenhousing to some people have failed, because during during Kiangazi. I would
Yes.
say Kiangazi.
Yes.
Okay, the greenhouses turn into an oven.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's a big challenge there. Now you have to invest more on irrigation. Either put up a mist system, okay, to control the temperature, plus the drip irrigation. So those are extra expenses. Yes.
And do you think, what are the probable returns? I mean, I know you have been also a salesman, and you salespeople know how to calculate the capital expenses and the operational costs and profits. How or is it that farmers, first of all, you've said that is the way to go? How profitable is it on a ratio, what is it called, between 1 to 10? What, or I mean, is it 1 to 100%? How profitable is it? And is it something that can give you what is the ROI? What is the return on investment?
Okay. My view personally, I think it is very profitable. Okay. I cannot personally talk about the cost.
Okay.
Because to some it's been a failure here. But up country, okay, I have seen a lot of greenhouses, and I've had a lot of success stories. Okay. So as you put it, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put it on 7 probably.
Okay.
Okay. So it is profitable.
But
if I don't see any but here. The only but here is whether you can afford it or not.
So why 7? Why not 9?
Those are the other variables are as you said, I'm a salesman. The other variables are in sales. Okay. You can do good on the production. Okay. But sometimes, in sales, timing is everything.
Yes.
Okay. So the other day we saw a lady do a lot of cabbages, and the prices went down so bad.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And that's not so good. So the timing here is everything.
So timing is also crucial. So iko mtoto, umechuna mtoto bana.
He wants to be part of the interview.
He wants to be part of the interview. It is, kama ungekuwa umesema you're a father as well, tungekuwa tumeshangaa hapo kidogo. So now, Modar,
yes.
I think there's something that you're mentioning, and before we get again into the discussion even further, what opportunities are there? Opportunities of farming in Mombasa, in the coast region, in the hot areas? I know you've traveled far and wide. You've seen the hot areas in Ukambani, hot areas, but
Yes.
we want to focus on the coast. From Emali is not coast, but from Voi there, Kibwezi.
From Voi down,
yes,
from Voi, Taru,
yes,
Samburu, all these are places that are good for irrigation.
Where is the
Unfortunately,
problem? Where is the problem?
The problem, I don't know. I cannot say. Probably it's the culture. But you see, long time ago there's this saying that coast people wanangojea maembe yanguke.
Ndio, na nimeona Nawaza amewagonga kidogo mahali hapo.
Sana amewagonga, it's true. But
Yeah.
I believe Nawaz, he has his heart in the right place. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is we have a lot of potential here at the coast. Okay. And the other day I was in Malindi area, Kilifi area, a place called Baricho, and there's a lot of potential there. Okay.
What are some of these opportunities, this potential that you're talking about? Because we have quite a number of our viewers from Mombasa, and they keep on asking, how can we get, is there as a farm that we can be able to see and visit and see the opportunity? Because on Mombasa Road, we are always on Mombasa Road for us, this side, and we're always seeing, apart from hizi magari zimetoka Meru zinapita Mombasa Road zikileta miraa huko. We're also seeing a lot of trucks coming all the way, coming to Mombasa, bringing vegetables. I mean, when I come to Kongowea, I see a lot of trucks bringing onions, bringing even pilipili hoho, bringing green, sana the traditional vegetables, a lot of them coming in. Where is the disconnect? When you talk about opportunities available, where do you see this opportunity?
Okay, first of all, my view is, you see, it's all about policies. Okay? Mimi, I will put my blame on our leaders because they never put emphasis on agriculture.
in Mombasa, in
Yeah,
the coast
in
region.
the whole coast. Okay.
Okay.
As if you look at where farming is done most, okay,
Mhm.
we would say it's around Taita area.
And not
Okay.
and not even a lot. It's done just by virtue that they have free
Yeah.
water.
Yes. Okay. And again, if you look at the people, you will see their leaders were encouraging them on farming and all that.
Mhm.
But in the lower coast, it's not that much. Okay.
Why?
Now
Why is the reason? Why is it that it's not a lot?
like I said, it's the leaders. Okay. Since independence, we never had our leaders stand up for us to tell us farm and farm and farm. No.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Because right now we are in an area where we have to attain food security.
Mhm.
To attain food security, we need more farmers.
Yes.
Okay. Now the leaders have to be an integral part in this too.
Mhm.
Okay. They need to make policies. Okay. They need to make um they need to give tools
Yes.
to the people to start farming.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And when you talk about these tools, so first of all, you say that indeed it is true that the opportunities are available in Mombasa, in
Yes.
the coast region, basically.
Yes.
What are some of these opportunities? Is it good soils? Is good weather? Is it availability of water? Is it availability of labor? Is it a mindset change that needs to be done? What are
Yes,
some of these things? Yes.
First, we need to have that mindset change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First, we have to encourage people to start farming again.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people here who have huge land, but they are not farming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
We have to look for influencers. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like
there's
Modar.
the, there's a lady called Zahra Saad.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
She's how should I say it? She's a block. Okay.
Mhm.
She's fundamental.
Yes.
She's a lady who's proven that she can make it in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we
Yes.
need more of her in the coast.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
Because most women in the coast are laid back here. And I'm talking about our Swahili women. Our
Mhm.
Swahili women will never pick up a djembe and go to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
But Saad, Mrs. Saad did that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And right now she's a beacon. Okay, she's even now doing training on farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we need influencers. We need new policies.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes. The opportunities are there. We have good soil.
Yes.
Good arable soil.
Mhm.
Like in Baricho, there are rivers. Okay.
Yes.
With new farming technologies, we can farm. We can farm now.
Exactly. And so we want now to find out, because why, for me, one of the things that really uh, I ask myself so many of these questions, because there's very many farmers who are really interested in farming, but some of the questions are really basic. And I mean, in the coast, we have county 1, county 2, county 3,
Yes.
county 4.
Yes.
We have the 001, we have governor 001, 002, 003, 004.
Yes.
Everything that comes in the country, and I want us to talk, to be very specific.
Mhm.
All the farm inputs, we are here in studio with my colleagues as well, and Lillian and Steve. Everything that comes in as farm inputs, fertilizer, foliar
Yes.
fertilizer, drip
Yes.
irrigation systems, knapsacks, everything
Yeah.
comes through the port of Mombasa.
Mombasa. True.
Everything that goes out as exports, tea, we actually even have the tea auction in Mombasa. We have coffee, we have
Yes.
all the exports, most of them that are going through by sea,
Yes.
go through Mombasa.
Yes.
All vehicles coming in and going out
Come
comes
through
through
Mombasa.
Mombasa.
Yes.
Is it something that you would like to say, one thing to all your governors, that this is what should be done? Because all our rivers, most of them flow into Indian Ocean. Tunawaletea maji na rutuba yote.
I don't know. I don't know about I cannot speak about Governor 002 or 003 or 00. But I know for a fact that Governor 001
Yes.
really enthusiastic about farming.
Yes.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to like we've been talking about trying to get people interested in farming.
Yes.
I believe we need to start this culture again, make it more interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We need to recruit more farmers. We need to recruit them at an early age.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If we need to make it sexy, then let's make it sexy.
It cannot work, but anyway, that's a discussion for another day.
But yeah, we need to make it intriguing. Okay. There's like I said, there's so many new farming techniques and
Yes.
technologies.
Yes.
We can introduce hydroponics in schools. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Get them thinking. Okay.
Mhm.
When we start
Mhm.
getting the kids thinking at an early age, they become innovative.
Yes.
Okay, and they perfect the system. So this is something I think County 001 should think about. Okay,
Mhm.
we should start integrating agriculture again into our syllabuses, into our curriculums.
Yes, there's actually
Okay.
something that I mean, it's good that you've mentioned that there's something that the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Forestry, and cooperatives as fisheries and cooperatives have started. It's called the 4K Club, the revival of the 4K
Yes.
clubs in by my friend who is also the CS of Agriculture, Madam Annie Nyaga. So this is something that you're saying that if it is integrated, if it is brought in the schools, we start reshaping our young ones from an early age about agriculture. It's something that they would pick.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. This is what I believe.
Thank you very much. So
Okay.
now let us get into business.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for sponsoring our shows. Thank you for some of the goodies that we have that you sent to us a few weeks back. First of all, I'd
You're
like
most
to
welcome.
take this opportunity to send our condolences, personal condolences, as well as my team for losing your mom, your aunt, and a few family members due to the pandemic. We condole with you right now, and we wish that you continue getting the comfort from Almighty God, so
Thank
that
you.
you can be able to cope with the losses.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
So now let us get back to business now and talk about
Uh-huh.
Morganics. What
Yes.
is Morganics? We have some Morganics bottles right here on in studio, which we will request you will tell us what we need to do with them. But let us know about what is Morganics. Where did you start? Why did you start doing this? You are in the coast region. This is some of the opportunities. We have a lot of cocoa pit coming from Mombasa, coming to do some work. Ukubara. Ukubara. Yes. How come that is not? I mean, I see a lot of coconuts wasted. Isn't it that could be an opportunity that young people could be integrated? But let us, instead of going into politics, let us first of all start discussing Morganics. What is Morganics?
Morganics is an organic liquid seaweed fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, basically it is what it sounds. It's a seaweed. It's an fertilizer made from seaweed. Okay, it has huge benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, apart
Yes.
from it contains the macronutrients, it contains micronutrients,
Mhm.
it contains trace elements,
Yes.
it contains growth hormones,
Mhm.
it contains amino acids. I believe we don't have any fertilizer in the market that has all these together in one.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mhm.
it's an excellent fertilizer. It's great for all crops.
So now where did you start? Why did you start thinking about organics? I mean, yeah.
Okay. It's been a long journey for me. Okay. First of all, I've been thinking about the change from chemical fertilizers to organic fertilizers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We all have heard that there's so many diseases that are coming up because of using chemical fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, first of all, I think it's the right way to move. Okay.
Okay.
From chemical dependency to organic inputs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, liquid seaweed fertilizer, I believe, is affordable. Okay, and it has better coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's good for small scale farmers. Okay. for large scale farming also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, what motivated me was the plight of farmers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
from being exploited by these huge chemical fertilizer companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, like I said, it's been a long journey. So because I've been trying to do this for over 3 years. Okay,
Wow.
I was getting it wrong. I was getting it right. I sent it for testing. Somebody, the analyst tells me it's low on nitrogen, so I go back to the drawing board. So it's been up and down for me.
Okay.
Finally, I got it right. Okay, and with his encouragement, he told me that this can do well in the market, and this can help a lot of farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now, when you were doing this, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of fertilizer, there's a lot of foliar fertilizer in the market. I think Kenya has some of the, I mean, the most number of foliar fertilizers in the market. Why did you? I mean, you said you thought about farmers. What
Yes.
was the focus behind farmers? What is this plight that you saw, that you've mentioned, that you saw farmers were suffering from? You know, the plight of farmers. Yes. I
Okay.
mean,
First of all, I was not profit driven.
okay.
Okay. I was not profit driven. Like I said, what I wanted was to give farmers something that is good, okay, and very affordable. I'm not thinking about taking any foliar out of the shelf or trying to become a competition to any of them. Okay. All I want to do is to give farmers a good product. Yeah. Something that is affordable.
Yes.
Number one, and the most important thing, healthy products. Okay.
Okay, so now with me, I have my colleagues here, Lillian, Thomas, and Steve, who are both agriculturalists. One is
Yes.
Steve is an extension officer, and
Uh-huh.
Lillian is a horticulturalist, more or less in terms of soil.
Yes.
Soil management, and so
Mhm.
they also have a few questions, and we'll also be opening up the question. I mean, the session to some of the viewers to be able to ask some questions. So yes, so they can ask a few questions about what it does and what are the benefits, basically. So take it up.
So, Motha Mohammed, thank you so much for the good work you're doing, trying to reshape again the agriculture industry in Kenya.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask your liquid seaweed fertilizer. Can you tell us what it entails? What are the products in it? What nutrients does it contain? How does it help in improving the agricultural activities that someone is doing generally?
Okay. The nutrients that it has, I think that's where we need to start.
Yes.
We can start with the pH.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
because it has a perfect 6.97 pH.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's high in nitrogen. It's 1.3% nitrogen. Okay. The calcium is ppm 3650.
Mm-hmm. But
Okay.
lakini utaongea Kiswahili ya kawaida, Kizungu.
Sawa. Utanisamehe, sijui magnesium kwa Kiswahili.
No problem. No, you can mention the elements. You can mention.
Okay, okay, let's just mention the elements.
Yes,
So
yes, and
it's
how
nitrogen, ammonium,
and how they integrate with each other, so that we helps feeding the crops and all that.
Okay. Nitrogen, calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, phosphorus, manganese, zinc, iron, copper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are some of the elements that are basically found in organics.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you talk about, I know Steve has some question in terms of which crops does well, so probably he can ask this question first.
Okay. It's not my first time to come across organics,
Yeah.
but I've been applying organics at a young stage. My question is, this organic can it be applied in every stage, or is just at young stage?
You see, this is the beauty of organics. Okay. First, it's advisable to soak your seeds. Okay? When you soak them, they grow healthier. Okay. You get better root formation. So you can start from seed level. And then you can use it at all development stages of the plant. Okay, so during vegetative stage, during flowering, and during fruiting. So you can use it at all stages of plant development.
Good, good, good. So, so Modar, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
Where do you see organics going, and what is the success rate that farmers should actually? Why should farmers use organics? Leo tunataka kupiga debe.
First of all, okay, great. First of all, it will give you higher yields. Okay, because we have successfully tested it on so many crops. On chicha, on spuma, we've tested it on tomatoes.
Yes.
We've tested it on passion fruit,
Mhm.
on watermelon.
Mhm.
We've tested it on trees, on mangoes and pawpaws. Okay.
Mhm.
So we right now we're even testing it on cotton. Okay. So it is good for all crops. It will increase your yield.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Basically, that's a driving factor for all farmers. Okay.
Yes.
Yield increase. Number one. Number two, seaweed has a distinct seaweed smell. Okay. That in itself is a repellent to all common pests. Okay.
Yes.
So you can expect at least 30% saving on pesticides. Okay, so
Okay.
that's a very huge plus to the farmer. Higher yields and low costs in buying pesticides.
Okay.
Okay. Now the advantages is it will make your plant be very healthy. We all know that when you even as humans, when you are healthy, you are better off equipped to fight diseases.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yes. So it's the same with plants. Okay. So when you start giving your seedlings organics from that stage, okay, they grow up being very healthy, very strong, and better withstand environmental stresses, diseases. Okay. Because we have found out also that organics can help combat salinity. Okay. In areas where there's saline, will help. Okay.
And one of the questions that I am an addict, I mean, I use organics. I remember the first time when we started engaging, I told you, mimi lazima ningoje. I have to wait for around at least a season for me to test and see.
Yes.
And I've used it well. There are some questions that people come asking, and one of the questions that I was asked by a farmer in Githunguri is, can I put organics in instead of spraying? Can it be put through drip irrigation? Yes.
Yes, as fertigation. Yes. Like I said, we've used it successfully on onions. Okay, we've done onions in Kajiado. Okay, and it worked very, very well.
Okay.
We've used a fertigation in Wajir. Okay, on garlic, and it did very well. Okay, so yes, it can be used with drip.
So when we talk about that, there's a photo that you sent me of you and a young guy. Who is this guy?
That's my boy. That's my son.
I'll just ask our producer to put the photo up, and you will tell us slightly about. You talked about the youth getting into agriculture, and this is something that I saw, and I said probably we will ask you before we actually put the picture up. Why have you integrated your son into this?
Okay, my son is in the university right now doing marine engineering.
Okay.
Now he's also fascinated about seaweed and what it does. He's been with me through this journey. Okay.
Yes.
Even through the previous farms that I used to manage.
Okay.
Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, he's my wingman. Okay, I'd say he's my wingman. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's integrating really, really well. He's also trying to encourage his friends into picking up agriculture. So he's also trying to play his part, and I'm really proud of him.
Very interesting, and congratulations for that. So now, where can farmers get organics?
Farmers, well, right now in Mombasa,
Mhm.
in Kitengela, I believe they can get it from you too, Noah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So basically, right now it's just in Mombasa, Organics and Allied Limited Mombasa,
Mhm.
and Africa Farmers right now are the ones who can. Who
And
are,
yes, and thank you very much for the opportunity and for the honor you've given us to be able to actually make sure that farmers are getting this at very very affordable prices.
yes.
You sent us 11 bottles,
Yes.
and I will not. I mean, being an African, we appreciate that, but we also decided to keep at least 2 bottles, and the rest which we are using in our demo farm when farmers are coming and learning this. What
Yes.
would you like us to do with these other remaining 8 bottles? No, 9 bottles.
Um, you have shows, Noah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can give them out as prizes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
But basically, all these are giveaways to farmers.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
People who are ready to show
Yes.
the crops, the before and after.
Mhm.
Okay. Whoever is willing
Mhm.
can talk to you. Okay.
Mhm.
Because right now people have to know how organics work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it has to go countrywide because, like I said, this is not something that's supposed to be used at the coast or in Kitengela. We need all farmers to know that there's a good foliar fertilizer in the market.
Yes.
They need to start using.
Good, fantastic. Thank you very much, and we will be giving out this during our shows.
Wonderful.
And the most what is very interesting to note is that the fact that there's something that is called human-centered design. I
Uh-huh.
think we mentioned it to you and with the previous packaging and the current packaging. I can say it's pretty well, very well designed. It is
you.
now easy. The other one I think had some issues, and now we are glad to be having this new packaging and especially being given the opportunity to be able to reach out. And so for you as a farmer, we will start probably like a raffle. Is it raffle? No, we'll start just asking a few questions starting tomorrow, where we'll be asking questions, and a farmer will be able to get an opportunity every day for the next 9 days, uh, nine of our shows, where a farmer, at least one farmer, will be getting 1 liter, which will be sharing the same again with you, Modar. Thank you very much, Modar. If somebody was to call you, what contact number would they get you? I know you have Organics and Allied on Facebook. Modar Mohammed, you're active in most of the groups, but sometimes there's this telephone number that somebody would be able to get you on. Which one is this that can be able to get you?
Yes, my number is 0717 155 633.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Modar, for creating your time and giving us time to be able to have this discussion. I know we'll be featuring you more. Thank you very much again for
The
integrating.
pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you, Noah.
Karibu sana. Thank you very much. And
And thank you, Africa Farmers.
we will tell Nawaza situchape viboko sana, but it's fine. Thank you very much, Modar.
Thank you so much.
So, well, you've heard it from the horse's mouth. You've heard about Modar, what he does, and how organics works. And what I found very interesting about is that it also helps repel some pests. It has a very strong smell.
Scent.
There's a day it poured in this studio. We had to do our shows outside. Yes, Lilia.
One thing I first want to upload,
Yes.
Modar Mohammed.
Yes.
There's something he has mentioned about being an influencer
Yes.
so that we can get more people into agriculture.
Yes.
And it's a good thing that he's actually even training the son. As much as the son hasn't done anything in agriculture, he's pursuing marine engineering.
Yes.
But he's really trying to train
Yes.
these young ones to get into agriculture.
Yes.
I really like the fact that it is not all about talk,
Yes.
but he's actually
Doing it.
walking the talk.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. And as we wind up, the thing that he has said very interesting. He's actually said that we need to be able to integrate the young people, and this is something that probably
We
we
need
can,
more influencers.
exactly, we can start talking about.
Role models.
There was a video that was going around. I don't know. I think I sent you that video. Yeah,
You
and
sent me the video.
yes,
by the way.
but that video. Anyway, we'll discuss about it tomorrow. More about it tomorrow. So my question, as we wind up, is it possible for agriculture to be done differently, profitably? Is it possible, listening to Modar, especially for the coast region, from Voi all the way going down to Taru? We have some of our good friends who are farming in Taru area, going all the way to Taita, Mwatate, all the way back to Malindi. Do you think if these areas were tapped, we would be able to get more youths getting into agriculture?
Yes.
How do you think we can be able to do this? What is this thing that we can be able to say, let's do this and let's action this? I mean, everything is coming in through Mombasa. Everything export is going out through Mombasa. Yes.
Okay. Like you have said, this guy has come up with the organics, and this organics, he needs some expertise, and he need to train some youths to engage into this business.
Yes.
And he'll be creating job opportunities, and also he'll be able to employ the extension officers or agronomists to supply the product
Yes.
to different farmers. So that is another pathway that you can engage youths, and they'll have an opportunity in the sector of agriculture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to my hosts, my co-hosts. Thank you very much to our super producer, Sarah, Tumekusalamia, and for everything that you've been doing. For those who've been watching us, this has been a Farmers Mid Morning Show. Tumepitisha wakati kidogo, tumeambiwa karibu tuzimie mic hapa. We are glad that you keep on watching. We are glad that you are learning much more. We see some of your comments. We are really excited to see that you are learning so much from what we are developing for you. Always send us messages. Let us know what else you'd like us to feature. If you have a farmer that you'd like us to feature and bring to the studio, or we go visit them, remember that you are free to be able to contact us at any time. You can send us a message on WhatsApp on 0700 29 30 31, or you can also get us on phone 0700 288 185 at any given time. You'll be able to get us, and we'll be able to share so much more. We want to leave you today, and we want to give room to our evening farm drive host, Conrad Kibe, who will be coming in with Timo. And what we want to ask you is that we are living deep in the pandemic, and we cannot let our guard down. Remember, our masks are the universal flag right now. Sanitize, keep yourself safe, avoid areas that are crowded, even though the lockdown has been lifted in some of these areas. As a farmer, always remember that your health is your success. If you're healthy, if your farm workers are healthy, then that brings in success. We want to thank you for watching us, and most importantly, we want to thank More Organics and Allied. We've heard from all the way from the coast region for giving us some of the inputs, quality inputs that we will want to start sharing with you. Remember, with the Farmers Media, you learn, you share, and you win. See you tomorrow, all the way from County 034.